Again with the trophy. Oh, that's going to get dirty.
Mr. Lane, do you know what time it is?
It's like 8:15.
No, it is time for another Warhammer 40k battle report, in which I will be bringing the undefeated, after multiple encounters,
Like twice.
the Destroyer Cult will be going to face your Custodes. And let me ask you, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for the power
That's why I came here to play
of the
Warhammer.
Necron Destroyer Cult? Are you ready to show the millions
Like 1,000 subscribers.
and billions
Still 1,000.
watching at home
Or anywhere.
the power,
Hopefully not in the car.
the presence, and the punctuality of the Destroyer Cult? I don't think you fully understand what is going to happen in this matchup. I don't think you fully understand the presence. You may have felt this in the
I
past.
think I do.
You may still feel this in the future.
Oh, hang on. I got to take this.
But you will need to know what Lane, Mr. DeLong, Lane, why won't you guys ever let me do my thing? And with that, welcome back, all our 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ, the Pumpkin King, here with Tim's Nation, joined once again by my good buddy Lane. And we will be playing another Warhammer 40k battle report.
Still doing the trophy.
Just for the month of November. So today, Lane will be bringing his Custodes, which not only is a beautifully painted army, it is a beautifully painted army showcased at Armies on Parade. Tell us a little bit about that, Lane.
Yeah, every Games Workshop store, not just a store that sells Warhammer stuff, but actual Games Workshop owned stores. Every year they do an Armies on Parade, usually in the fall, in November or October sometimes. And everybody brings their army, sets up a display board, and people come in and vote on who their favorites are. So I've done this several years. They had to shut it down a couple years for COVID, but I did bring my Custodes this year, set them up. We'll show you a couple pictures of those. I got second place. Congrats to Ken for getting first place. Nice job. We competed. We both brought boards last year. I won last year, and he came in second place. This year, he won, and I came in second place, so it's well earned, Ken. Good job. But I definitely recommend doing it. It's always great to go and kind of show the work you put into it and see what other people have done.
Sounds like you and Ken have a rubber match next year.
Yeah, it's coming back.
The final, the true Army on Parade. Of what location did you guys go to?
That's the Games Workshop store in Mayfield. Mayfield Heights.
Mayfield Heights. Nice. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So guys, again, every year this is done. So make sure you check these out. Take a look. I know some of it is up on Games Workshop website, some of the winners, but any army that's set up there are always gorgeous armies. Mm-hmm. And some of the armies that may not get showcased on the website directly are still really beautiful designs, and definitely recommend going and taking a look at all these armies if you're near a Games Workshop store and get the opportunity to see these armies painted.
Yeah, they do like a global competition, but they do it at the local level too. They have trophies they send to the stores, so you can win a trophy. It's really cool. I've got one or two of them. So yeah, I definitely recommend it, especially if your army is not even that, you don't think it's that great. Take it, show it off. You'll learn some stuff. You'll still get some compliments, even though you might not think it's amazing. There's a lot of people that will still enjoy it. So
awesome. And as always, guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the bell for notifications. Get notified on all the content we bring you here on the channel, including a lot of stuff that me and Lane have been spitballing to grow. I'm not going to say much of it because some stuff might not come to fruition. Some will. We are getting ready for the tournament that we said we're going to that's probably going to start at the beginning of the new year, where we're going to do the tournament to crown the first Tim's Nation champion between Lane and myself. And then we have a whole bunch of rules to incorporate anybody in the local area that wants to come on board and try and challenge for the title, the Tim's Nation title.
But if I win, I want to call it the DeLong Nation. That's my last name. So I think we change the name of the title first year if I win it.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. And actually, if you're, you're not a wrestling fan, but it does kind of fit with some of those promo style things. The first time that Edge won the WWE Championship, he changed it to the Rated R title, took the logo off it, slapped his own logo on there for a bit. But
I'm going to take that pumpkin trophy and hide it. That's what's going to happen.
You got like one more week to deal with it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. But with that being said, that's all stuff in the future. I know I've been doing some of the table talks, table time, as I call it. We're doing some like actual in-depth studies of 40K using real models on the table to be able to see these stuff. And thank you guys. It's been a lot of support behind that. Please, if there's any aspects of the games, leave it in the comment section and we'll move forward from there. We got a lot of other stuff that we won't even talk about because we'll see how it all pans out. But stuff we can talk about today is the armies we'll be playing. So, Lane, you got an itty-bitty force there. Why don't we go into
just a couple little units here. So today I'm bringing Custodes. So Custodes, we've got 3 characters. We've got Trajan Valaris, we've got a Calidus Assassin, and then we've got the Blade Champion. He's got the Unstoppable Destroyer enhancement. Then we've just got 2 5-mans of the Custodian Guard with spears. One of those has a Vexilla, because I've only got 1 Vexilla painted up. So we've got 2 of those. We've got 1 squad, 5-man squad of Wardens. The models have the axes, but I'm using them as the spears because the spears are just better this edition. Then we've got 3 3-mans of the Venatari. I love these models. They're very expensive at 200 points per 3-man. Again, these are not WYSIWYG. I'm going to be using the Lances because the Lances are just way better than the pistols and bucklers in this edition. So we're using with those. And we've got 1 Caladius Grab Tank. That's it.
All right, so we're coming back with the cult with no personalities. So, once again, the Destroyer cult that has gone 2-0 so far. I've been very, very surprised by this, and Lane and myself have actually thought this is a list that is a diamond in the rough that deserves a little more competitive practice and hopefully an RTT very soon. So to go over the list real fast, we have 3 squads of Scorpex, 2 3-mans, and a 6-man. 2 squads of Locusts, one's a 2-man, one's a 6. 3 squads of Locust Heavies, 2 with Gauze Destructor, 1 with the Eradicator. 2 squads of Ophidians as 3-mans. All Destroyer units that can have a plasma sight have maximum plasma sights. Then we also have I think I said a 2-man of the Locust. They're just kind of for objective stuff in there. Then we have 2 Locust Lords. 1 with the Veil with the Locust Heavies, 1 with the Sovereign, and he's going to be with the 6-man Locust. 3 Scorpack Lords with each one of the Scorpack squads. And of course, the never leave home without it, the Canoptic Reanimator. So
just once you could leave home without it.
I mean, it's impossible for me. It actually is
impossible
for me to leave home with the Reanimator on any video we record here. So, but aside from that, here's what's interesting about this matchup. So a lot of people are sour on the Scorpack specifically going into vehicles. With Custodes, you almost have an entire walking army of mini vehicles based on your wounds, your toughness, your saves. All of that stuff makes it incredibly difficult to remove some of these units. While your army is very small and compact, it is extremely tough and extremely durable. So that's going to be an interesting aspect on how I can actually push through this stuff. Your thoughts?
That's really going to come down to how many 4-up M-bombs I can roll. So that's all it's going to be. Because I could definitely, you have put out a lot of damage, and my guys can just disappear pretty quickly. So hopefully I play a little cagey. The Venatari can rapid ingress for free, and they can do it multiple times in the same turn. So I'm going to hope they drop in rapid ingress, and then they can move and get some charges off. They hit really hard in combat. I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll see what's left of my army after that happens. But yeah,
I have a little bit. I will say this going into this, just so that people are aware. Lane and I discussed this. Yes, there is an advantage for my list and the Necrons going into this matchup for 2 reasons. 1, I play Necrons nonstop, so I know all of the ins, outs, intricate details, and everything like that. Number 2, I have practiced this with secondaries and playing this a lot more than you have with Custodes. However, there is, even in this, and this is one of the things we talk about with practice and stuff like that. Okay, so I win the game. Now we look at how the win happens. And that's going to be a very, very strong point of where that comes in. Like if I beat you by 1 point, then that puts up a yellow light of, ooh, what just happened here? Or if I even lose that in that sense, starts to put up the yellow light. And now, don't get me wrong. I say win the matchup, like, oh, okay, I win this. You do have a lot of aggression there's a lot of things that you have that could put me in a really, really bad position. Number 1, like you said, those Venatari. You have 3 units that have jump infantry capabilities that can rapid ingress, that can deep strike. You don't even need to rapid ingress them per se. You may not want to in some scenarios. They may stay in the back pocket, and then suddenly you go, oh, look, I draw behind enemy lines. And you could run away with the secondary scoreboard just by the fact that getting to your units and how small your army is may be too difficult. And when I start to try to make those aggressive plays, you're able to pick off units one by one by one and limit my MSU capabilities. So I'm not writing off the fact of like, oh, this is a win. Yes, there is definitely this matchup is going to be in my favor just because of the time we have spent with these armies. But as you said, if you never fail a 4-up invuln,
it's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a really big problem. Yeah, especially limited devastating wounds coming out of my army. So yeah, I mean, I do feel good about this matchup. I do feel good going into this matchup relatively, but I definitely need to see how that damage is going to impact. Because I could win this matchup by little points, and inside your head, all of a sudden the bell goes off, and you go, "Let's go round 2." And guess what? This ain't going to happen. And then suddenly the gears turn, and next week I end up getting crushed by Custodes because you go, "Huh, I think I got something for you." Needless to say, that's the future. Let's talk about the present.
A 2, please. I would like a 2 or an even.
There we go. You'd like a 2? Well, I'm sorry. No, you said 2. You said 2.
You thought I'd be practicing this by now.
Right. It's not like you haven't done this before. All right, so you won the roll-off on the evens because it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Which would you like? Would you like to
have
play
you
first?
Drop first, sir.
All right. Well, then we will be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Lane, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what we got going on today?
All right, so today's deployment is search and destroy, table quarters, and then our mission special rule is going to be sweep and clear. Basically, everybody gets sticky objectives. If you hold an objective through your command phase, then you can move off of it and still control it until your opponent gets on it. And then our primary mission is priority targets. This is a simple one. You get 5 points for each objective you control in your command phase, up to 10 points. And then at the end of the game, you get 5 points for each one you control, up to 15 points.
I'm not a big fan of this mission.
It can easily be a very high scoring one.
Yeah, it also kind of is like a boring primary as well too, because it's like you just hold 2 objectives all game and you score 10 points. Like,
it's a good chance we max them out. So
it is a very, very good chance. This may come down to secondaries on that sense. And then one thing we don't normally say, I will be playing tactical on mine objectives today. Lane, are you doing the same?
Yes.
All right. So now let's talk about deployments. Over here to the definitely seeming underpainted Necrons in comparison. So we have the Necrons. Me and Lane have discussed the basings on my army a bit. We're going to try and work stuff out with my display boards here soon. So hopefully we'll get these black bases, get rid of these things here soon. But hey, I've been putting some work in on it. You can see with some of these Locust Heavies, we've been doing some work. And speaking of which, they're back here because they're hanging out with the Veil Locust Lord, so they can go away at any time. Same with the Ophidians. I like to start them on the table for that same reason. Based on how deployment went, in the back and forth deployment here, I saw where Lane put his tank. So I did stack up all my Locust Heavies on this side, as well as the Locust, because I got my Sovereign over there, to be able to give them the +1 to hit. Then we have Scorpex in the walls. Scorpex in the walls. You know, you should definitely have your house inspector check for those when you're trying to buy a new home. Make sure there's no Scorpex hiding in the walls. And then this is where the 6-man brick is hanging out. So the 6-man brick is going to be within range of the Reanimator to be able to push into the center. While Lane does have some guns, I don't feel like he's going to have the guns to completely clear the unit, so I feel like that's a good place to be. This Scorpec up here is part of the 3-man squad, and he's actually down below with the other squad. Just there's a lot of little stuff in the way, and I don't feel like breaking blades. So we declared that ahead of time. Speaking of declaring that units are actually down below and not on top, well, let's go over to Lane. All these Custodes you see hanging out on top are actually down below. Now, Lane, I'm going to get in here for some closer view at some of these beautiful models. Why don't you talk to me about what you're doing today?
I had like 5 drops. So we're prepared to get out and get on objectives and start fighting you. We're going to have to do some work because you're just going to overwhelm me. So we have to kill some things. But really, I just want to wait till turn 2 or when the Venatari hopefully come in. But yeah, we've got basically hiding in the buildings here. The Custodes assassin is hanging out over here. She does have infiltrate, so she's able to go out there and lone operative, so she shouldn't get shot. Whatever you're doing right now, I want you to stop and go to the comments and guess how many times I mistakenly mix up Custodes assassin and Caladius grav tank. I've got both on the table today, a Caladius and a Custodes. I can't wait to see how many times I just mix those up. But yeah, we're on the objective. Here we are, ready to move forward. Hopefully, get into some fighting because we like to fight you.
No, sir. Can you do me one small favor before we begin this game? I really can't get a glimpse of Trajan's beautiful shoulder pad. Would you mind
Oh, okay.
twisting
So
him around for me?
Trajan's got the lion shoulder pad, so I'm very proud with that. It's basic colors, but it turned out I picked the right color, so it looks very much like a lion.
I've had some of that too, where there's some like really super in detailed things that it's like you just happen to pick the right colors and happen to wash it just the right way, and it comes out really super nice. So, all right, so we are deployed. All that's left is to determine who will go first. Lane, what are you feeling like this game?
Whew, I don't know. Not real confident. Actually, based on the ability to rapid ingress, I would prefer to go second. That way, on turn 2, you can go first. Then I rapid ingress my Benatari, and then I get to hit you turn 2.
I kind of would like to go first in this just because I'd like to be able to spread out and get a little more coverage. But it's okay with the way that this is a GW terrain setup, and we do have really nice bunkers in our home field. All right, well, let's let the dice decide who will be going first today. Oh, looks like the Necrons will be going first. All right, Lane, do you have any scout moves?
No.
I do not have any either, so we will be going right into the movement phase, and we'll come back after the Necron move. So one thing I've noticed about Warhammer 40k is the player who goes first, while they do have the ability to do damage, potentially, it really usually just turns into a turn of repositioning, especially with smaller armies, and not very much on secondaries. You kind of got to get lucky on some of those. And I did have the option to spend a command point to shuffle one out, but I felt like it was too early. Not to mention, it's not necessarily the worst position to be in for later in the game. So my secondaries I drew for this round were Engage on All Fronts and Overwhelming Force, both of which there is absolutely no way I'm going to score those on the first turn. So I just chose to reposition. Lane reminded me of a couple of the Custodes rules, such as a 2 command point ability to gain fight first, and one of the units that's able to advance and charge. So with that in mind, I just kept the score pack, the big 6-man back, position them so they're ready to assault on the center objective once if Lane tries to make a play onto it. And then we advanced everyone else out. We were able to ding this other objective over here. So we did pick up that one. And actually, I'm just going to reposition a little bit because I don't want you coming and running through the walls at me. That's my job. Score packs belong in the walls, not Custodes. So, yeah, that's just to kind of try and prevent Lane from being able to hit me super early, unexpectedly, and knock me off that 5-point hit, because knocking off that 5-point hit on the primary for the 10-point primary, since it's only holding 2 objectives, could be crucial. Locust Heavies are in position to shoot down ways as the game progresses, and we can figure out which direction I want them to go into as we move forward. Right now, they really don't have any clear line of sight at this point in time, but they're in position to move and kind of make sure wherever that Custodes tank, got it right that time, wherever it decides to go and play, and then everyone else just kind of spurred out in the backfield. So I'm going to discard Overwhelming Force to gain a command point, and I'm going to keep engaging all fronts because that's one that my army really actually kind of likes, and we're going to hand this over to Lane.
All right, so we just moved out a little bit because DJ made sure he wasn't too close to me with these score picks. I decided not to move these guys out. I rolled for my advance. I got a 4. It would have given me a 9-inch charge, which is re-rollable, but then they would have really been hanging out there doing nothing. So what we're going to do is move the grav tank up, shoot at these score packs here. And if I pop the unit, then I get a kill for no prisoners. My secondaries are no prisoners, and capture enemy outpost. I don't know why that one doesn't say you can't do it turn 1. But,
yeah, right.
And then we've got the Custodes over here on this objective, and then this squad, Trajan with these guards moving out so they can get on that objective as well and make sure we got more than just the Custodes holding it. That's it. I'm going to roll for this tank shooting, and we'll see if it gets any work done. All right, so the Custodes. I'm not doing this on purpose. I almost called it Custodes. Custodes did pop off here. He's got 4 shots. I did roll 1 on one of my hits, so I did CP reroll to get 4 hits, and I got 4 wounds. It is twin linked, and we were wounding on 2s. And DJ made none of the saves on the score picks and did make the 4-up invuln on the score pick Lord. So I get 2 points for no prisoners for picking up that unit, but more importantly, I denied DJ 5 points on primaries. for knocking them off that objective. So that is that. And we'll move on to DJ's turn. Just so far, turn one, we have a total of 2 points scored between the two of us.
So we're bringing everything in now. We drew area denial, and we kept engage on all fronts because my army likes engage on all fronts. And we're going to start making some plays. So we picked up both squads of Ophidians, but I did leave the big Locust heavy squad in here in the backfield because I want to keep protection from the Venatari. I don't want him dropping them in and doing some crazy stuff. And Lane, are you rapid ingressing anything at this time?
Yeah, I think I will rapid ingress.
All right. So while
do that.
you get that situated, there is nothing I can do to change that. But there is one little quick thing we were going to talk about real fast.
Oh, you know, why does this Scorpack Lord have wounds on him? I don't understand.
Yeah, so Lane decided he was going to Overwatch with his... Go on.
Caladius.
Ha ha ha. So you try to bait him with that. And hit, wounded, did damage, knocked the Scorpack Lord on his butt, and then I spent a command point to stand him back up so I could score area denial. And yeah, not the way I want to do that, but it is the way that it happened. So everything else was how do we score engage on all fronts, and how do we get in position to do a little bit of extra work. So I moved the Scorpecks over here up, and they're going to go into Trajan and squad. I don't feel like they're going to survive out till the end of the day, but at least getting some of them off the table. I have to start whittling Custodes down in some way, shape, or form. I brought the Locusts on from Strategic, so they're going to try and pick on the Custodes. And then these Ophidians are in the corner here to try and longbow and charge. They were originally going to get me my engage in all front points, but then I've decided to bring the Locusts in as well, so we're going to just have a little bit of aggressive play over here on this flank. The Hexmark did land over here. Yes, he did. And the Hexmark did land over here and he's going to put some shots in over there. More or less, he could stand back up as well, too, being a character. So if Lane just tries to shoot him down, he can stand back up and kind of run away. So at least that was in my mind for this game. The Hexmark isn't going to do very, very much against the durability of the Custodes. So this does seem like his best role. Otherwise, just be bringing behind enemy lines time. But I want to get that 5 on engage on all fronts to make up for last turn. Then over here, we repositioned. So all my Locust heavies, all 6 of them, are going to be shooting at Lane's. What's it called?
Caladius.
See, I'm trying to bait for you people in case you rated high on the mess up. Try to bait. Either that or I'm giving them training. And then we just moved everyone else in position for later turns. The Locusts just moved along the backfield, advanced, so they're in a better position. The Ophidians landed over here to grab that objective, so now I have something on the objective. They flew. They picked up and dropped, so they could still technically charge.
These guys cannot shoot them. You agree that they cannot
Correct,
be seen?
they cannot be seen. But your tank can. And that's where we're going to go. And we're going to throw some dice and see what we can make happen here. All right, so unfortunately, we dropped that big Calidus tank, Caladius. Oh, see, I screwed it up.
You did it. That's one.
But it wasn't me, because it's not my vehicle. It's all about Lane here. He has 2 wounds left, but he's not dead.
He's a 14 wound vehicle, so DJ needed 3 of those big shots to go through, and I made 2. A couple 5-up involved. So
yes, he did. Then all these little bird boys dropped in. They're getting ready to start some action here next turn. And then going over here. So when we did our shots, and like I said, dropped that down to 2, and that was our only real shooting. Over here, the Ophidians and the Locust failed to charge the Calidus, tried to make that happen. And the Scorpecks did charge into the Custodes. So this was kind of a little bit of a miscalc on my play. I didn't think about it fully through. Was when the Scorpack Lord stood back up, those Custodes were able to still consolidate. I just did a video about this too. I should have known better. And he was able to move in and tag and take the objective back that I just took from him. So he will be able to sticky that next turn.
I did pop Trajan's Moment Shackle for the fight first. So I got the fight first and removed the squad and the Scorpack Lord and then pop back up.
And that was kind of something I was hoping for.
And I'm consolidated in, and I knew that by consolidating into him, he would still get the swing, even though he had been out of engagement range before, but I wanted to get on that objective.
Yeah, and I was hopeful that I could at least pop that Moment Shackle and get rid of that thing, so I'm glad that's gone now. But I was also kind of hoping to just take that objective and give Lane the same courtesy he gave me as a 5 on primary. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. So Lane is going to get a 10 on primary. But speaking of 10s, I'm also going to get a 10 on secondaries because I will score max on engage, as well as max on area denial, which is 5 because you can't score. It's either is you is or is you ain't. And now we're going to move over into Lane's turn and see how he can answer back. Yeah, not a whole lot of damage for me. So he's got a whole lot of little army to do some work with.
So I pulled behind enemy lines and investigate signals. I spent the CP to get the fresh orders, and I pulled defend stronghold. Investigate is difficult for this Custodes army with barely any units on the table. So, but what we are doing is getting out there and going to try to kill some stuff. So these guards moved up to shoot at the hex mark, old Hexy. These guys moved out here to contribute stuff in the middle. I'm hoping they can't get shot very much, and I can spend 2 CP to fight first if they get charged by Scorpex or anything. So I think they're in a decent position. DJ might be able to move a couple of these forward onto the train and be able to shoot through it, but I'm not feeling too much. I think I'll be all right. I moved up the Venatari. They have a 10-inch move now, so we're going to try and knock DJ off of this objective. Venatari are going to charge into this big Scorpec unit because we are trying to score behind enemy lines. So I'm going to charge into them and see if I can get 2 units to kind of pile in, consolidate behind enemy lines. And yeah. And then the Custodes is like, you know what? You guys didn't shoot at me, so I'm going to make you pay for it. You need to understand the threat I am. So she moved forward and see if she can wreck these guys. All right. We'll do a little shooting and do a little charging, and we'll see what happens. If you watched last week, you heard me complain about DJ's armor saves. But now, this was DJ's armor saves on the Scorpec Lord, who is in the center of the table when I shot him with this squad of Wardens. So the Scorpec Lord has died a second time. Other than that, the only other shooting really that happened was these guys picked up Hexy. DJ opted not to bring him back because they are custodian guards, so they could actually have shot him a second time. They have that ability to do that. Other than that, I forgot to fire with the Caladius tank. He was going to shoot the Scorpec Lord, but that's fine. We did some damage. And then Venatari just put a few shots into these Locust heavy destroyers, killed one. DJ spent the CP to bring him back, just trying to make it more difficult for me to get into its deployment zone, but I still think I have the charge. So I'm going to make a couple charges. We're going to do a couple fights, and then we'll see what happens. That was a spicy turn. Turns out I like these Venatari guys. So these Venatari charged in, picked up the, what were they?
Ophidian.
Ophidians. Because they each get 5 attacks, and they're wounding on 2s because they're strength 7, they have lance. So they were able, and I pulled sustain, I did sustain for my kata this turn, so we're getting lots of hits and wounding on 2s. These guys swung into the Scorpex first, almost picked up the whole squad, picked up 5 of them. DJ did pop the reanimate.
Nope, no I didn't. Not on him. Oh, the reanimation for the squad. Yeah, tried it.
Yeah, oh, not on the character. But he popped the reanimation on the squad, and there were 3 left. These guys picked up the last 3, did a little bit of work to him, but did not finish him off. So he is still there. And DJ wasn't able to pile in because he was out of engagement range. And then Scorpec Lord here swung, didn't kill anybody. Or he didn't.
No, he did.
He picked up one. He picked up one guy, and then they swung back and picked him up. He could not come back because he already came back once. And then the Custodes swung and picked up one of those things.
Almost tanked it. My dice are coming back to me.
Yeah. So that's it for the turn. Lots of killing. I did get behind enemy lines and defend stronghold. They score at the end of DJ's turn. So move on to DJ's turn.
All right. So this turn, I'm not going after any secondaries. Deploy teleport homers and capture enemy outposts were my secondaries, and that is not a position I'm in at all this turn. I actually went from very, very confident going into this game to
Oh, no.
So, well, we're going to try and do some damage back. I need to get Birdmans out of my half of the table. So we're going to try and do some work. I still do have a lot of resources. That's the nice thing about MSU. I just have lost a lot of my aggression. So we did pick up the Locust Heavies at the end of Lane's turn and drop them down. So they're going to try and put some shots into here to hopefully weaken the squad up so that my Ophidians are able to actually do work. Over into here, the Scorpack Lord was not in combat, went back to full health. He's going to get ready to try and charge the remaining Venatari after we do a little bit of shooting at him, and probably actually not even remove one, considering the guns are, well, yeah. Now over here, all 6 of my heavies are going to go right into this Venatari. No cover, no nothing. We're going to put them right on invulns. Every shot that goes through will be a kill. And then the Locust heavies, the Locusts over here, are going to shoot at the Venatari over here and try and see what we can pick up with these guys. So, yeah, we'll do some shooting and see how this goes. All right, so a lot of stuff happened. It's still, I'm still pins and needles on how this is all going to resolve. So the heavies did their job exactly as I was hoping. They removed the entire squad, leaving it just down to Trajan. And now that Lane's only at 1 command point, I don't have to worry about the interrupts, so the Ophidians have a shot at being able to pick him up and taking that objective away, which would be nice. But more importantly, we need to get the Birdmans out of here. So we didn't do any damage to this 3-man squad, which I was kind of anticipating that was going to be the case. So we're going to have to charge him with Scorpack Lord. Over here, Locust Heavies picked up 2 out of the 6 shots, and we got 1 left here, so we're going to have to do something about that. And then over here, we did 2 damage to 1 guy. We're not able to finish him off.
I spent 2 CP on the strat that reduces damage by 1, just to keep them alive a little bit longer. So,
and because of the fact that I could not see the whole squad and him getting cover, it was only it was a 3-up save over there. So we're going to have a lot of charges. I'm going to have to make some decisions as I charge and figure out how I want to play this, because this is probably going to matter for me to be able to pull this off. All right, so some stuff happened, some stuff didn't. So, over here, first of all, as far as charges are concerned, we failed miserably to charge this last Venatari, which is very, very, very painful. Over here, we did successfully charge, however, we were only able to kill 1 in total. Lane came back and killed 1 and a partial. I did spend a command point to do the reanimation strat. So once we go into Lane's command phase, I will be able to get that squad back to full strength. I lost 1 and a partial, healed back to 1 guy with 2 wounds, or 2 wounds remaining, so he'll heal off the Resorb. Over here, Scorpack Lord was significantly more impressive and was able to pick 2 of them up just by himself, 1 on impact, 1 on combat, and the one that turned around and smacked got 4 up invuln, so we're still standing alive over there. Over here, I failed to charge with the Locust Heavies. So then I decided to not charge with the Ophidians and the Trajan. If I would have charged in there, Trajan just would have picked up the Ophidians, and chances are I would have done absolutely nothing to him. He's a 7-wound beast. So we just opted to take the objective from him to at least put Lane on a 5 for primary and keep us in the game until Lane turns around and smacks them and kills them off the field. So that is about it. We're going to kick it over to Lane. I did discard 1 card for a command point, and yeah, let's see what Lane's got in store for us.
So my secondaries are Cleanse and a Tempting Target. The Tempting Target is going to be this one that DJ controls over here. But I'm going to see if I can take it back from him. These Custodian Guard moved up. The objectives are sticky for this mission, so I sticky my deployment zone 1. And then we're going to take shots at these guys. And then Trajan stayed where he was, so he doesn't actually get overwatched. This Venatari jumped over here to Cleanse. These guys advanced, and because they're led by the Blade champion, once per game they can advance and charge. So we're going to get in here and do some work. Caladius just made sure he had eyes downtown into the destroyer. What are these? Locust destroyers?
Regular Locust destroyers.
Regular Locust.
They're not as heavy.
All right, I'm going to make some shots, and then we'll see what comes of this. Did we take our Tempting Target? Indeed, verily we did. There's many OC of the Custodian variety upon this. It turns out that gold is better than silver, DJ.
Mine aren't silver, they're green and black, so don't even try that with me. Don't even try that with me. I will delete this entire video.
Oh, there's the threat, guys. We're better.
I will delete this. It will never happen.
So that was a productive fight phase. We wiped through this squad and did pick up the character. DJ spent the 1 CP to pop him back up on his 3 wounds. Trajan Valoris did his thing and popped those 3 Ophidians. Yep,
Ophidian.
And that's it. We had the Venatari here that came over and did the action in the middle. So I cleansed for 3 points, Tempting Target for 5, and that is the end of my turn.
All right, so we had to spend a command point to shuffle out a secondary. My secondaries have been very, very weak this game. So we shifted out behind enemy lines and got tempting targets, which Lane is tempting me the same way I tempted him, and we're going over here.
Come get some!
Unfortunately, I have less resources to do this with, so we'll see what we can make happen. So we move the Locust up, Locust Heavies up, and we're going to be shooting 3 different directions with them. Not hoping for very much, but just hoping to maybe do a little bit of scare damage.
I like how you pose them all, so they're all firing in their different directions.
Exactly. One is going to shoot at this Venatari. One is going to shoot at this Venatari. And then one is going to shoot at Trajan because he can't shoot at anything else. Then the Scorpek Lord's coming out of Russian and a wallop, and he's got a 7-inch charge on that squad in the middle, and he's going to be picking up a heavy job of trying to take them down. Over here, we're going to try and punk these Venatari. We got a lot of resources going into it. I got the 3 heavies underneath here that are going to shoot. Then we can charge in with the Locust Lord, who could hopefully pick them up in the end. Lane is sitting on 2 command points. He could theoretically interrupt in his turn, but we'll see how that rolls. So let's do some shooting and hope for the best. All right, so this is not going well at all. I seriously cannot roll anything above a 5 for a charge, like across the board. So we did make our charge. Unfortunately, we were not able to pop that last Venatari. We did take the objective, but it doesn't matter in the aspects of the game for the primaries. Then over here, we were not able to take the tempting target. The Scorpek Lord successfully charged in and did impact damage, but wasn't able to kill the Venatari, but then he killed them in combat. My hope was I would kill the Venatari with the impact damage and then still be able to activate and move in and try and take on these guys. Fortunately, that didn't happen. My Overlord got free heroic intervention by these guys and just ripped off the table. Sad face, major sad face. And then that's about it for the turn. So I kept tempting target, discarded the other one for a command point. We're going to move into the bottom of 4 and see if I can't. We'll see what Lane's going to do for punishment.
So for this turn, I got to extend battle lines and overwhelming force. So I just have to control my objective here, which because of sticky objectives I do, and control 1 in no man's land. This is that easy one that's easy to score, so 5 points there. And then overwhelming forces kill things what are on objectives. So we're going to try to kill, see if we can kill these guys. And then we'll see if we can kill these guys, these Locust Destroyers. I'm going to do some shooting and do maybe some charges. We'll see how we go. All right. I'm really liking these Venatari guys. They're expensive, but man, they do the work. So we cleaned up whatever these things were in the middle.
Locust Heavies.
Heavies.
Lord.
We wrecked this squad, but there was one left there. We did kill this one. Yeah, we killed him and you spent the CP to bring him back.
Yep.
I got 10 on secondaries because I got both extend battle lines and overwhelming forces kill things on objectives. So I did kill both units here, the squad and then the characters. That gave me my 5 for overwhelming force. And on to DJ.
So we dropped the reanimator back for investigate signals to score 2 points, but other than that, there's not much left. Scorpek Lord rushed in. He did do a decent job of beating up some of these Blade Guard over here. We got the squad down to 4 guys. That's about it. And they picked up the Locust Heavy. So we'll hand it over to Lane. He'll finish out and give us our final score.
All right, so for my secondaries, I pulled Deploy, Teleport Homers, and Assassinate. We did finish off the Scorpek Lord there for Assassinate, and the Custodes dropped in here for Deploy, Teleport Homers, because she just does Custodes things. So final score here, being that we scored 15, I got 15 on primaries for holding 3 objectives at the end, and DJ got an extra 5 there. So final score, Custodes 98 and Necrons 47. 98 to 47. So follow us over to the post game, guys. We'll talk a little bit about how things went. We'll see you there.